Newton's second law of motion. Okay, in this Newton's second law of motion, right now we can consider one example. Suppose a person who is cycling, thin person and a fat person or a thin person we can consider. Suppose if a person is having more mass, then what happens? If we need to apply large amount of force to make it to move very fast, but whereas the thin person, he need to apply less amount of force to go with greater velocity. Okay, on basis of this, right now we are going to consider Newton's second law of motion. Okay, suppose a thin person we are considering. If we apply large amount of force, then what happens to the velocity? Velocity will be increases. Okay, how much time takes to get more velocity? Means in short time we can go with larger velocity. Okay, time is less, velocity will be more. Or else you can consider with one more. Suppose here is the ball we are considering of mass m, and which is initially moving with a velocity u, and there is a force exerted F, and what happened? The velocity will be increases to V. How much time taken? Here is, we are considering a time delta t, or you can consider it as dt. Dt is the time interval we are considering. What is the change in velocity? Change in velocity will be V minus u. Okay, when it is V minus u, V will be more here, u will be less. Why? Because there is a exerting force on it. Okay, what is the change in velocity? Right now we can consider change in velocity becomes change in velocity is giving you V minus u. Okay, what is the change in time? Change in time is giving you dt. Okay, right now here change in velocity will be more, and here what happened? The time interval, when the force exerting more, time interval will be less. In short time its velocity changes from u to v is will be more when force exerted will be more. If the force exerted is less, then what happened? The change in velocity will be less, and what happened? The time taken to change it from u to v will be more. Okay, basis of this, rate of change of velocity is nothing but velocity with respect to time. Velocity will be increases with respect to less time when force exerted will be more. Okay, according to Newton's second law of motion, here we are getting a relation in between change in velocity, time and force exerted. Okay, what is that? External force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum, dp by dt, where dp is nothing but change in velocity, change in momentum. Okay, dp is giving you final momentum minus initial momentum. Okay, what is the final momentum? This is the final momentum. What is the initial momentum? This is the initial momentum. So what you will get here? Final momentum is mv, initial momentum is mu. So we can substitute here, F is directly proportional. If we remove proportionality, definitely we will get one proportionality constant. Here we are taking it as proportionality constant K. dp by dt can be taken as mv minus mu by dt is the time interval. Let us suppose I am considering it as t itself. Okay, t2 t1, here it will be t2. t2 minus t1 can be taken as t, initial time, final time. Okay, d2 dt can be taken as t2 minus t1 equals to t we are considering for easy understanding. Okay, right now F is equals to K into mass can be taken common V minus U by T. Here we got a formula for this. Change in velocity by time is giving you acceleration, so we will get F equals to K into ma. Here what about K value? K value becomes 1 when force exerted on this is 1 Newton or 1 unit, mass will be 1 unit, acceleration will be 1 unit. So F equals to 1 unit, mass will be 1 unit, acceleration will be 1 unit. So we can substitute all these in this formula. So we'll get K value 1 is equals to K into 1 into 1. So we'll get K value becomes 1. So again substituting in the formula, F equals to ma. This is the formula for Newton's second law of motion. According to Newton's second law of motion, rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to external force. Okay, change in momentum with respect to time is more when force exerted will be more. Rate of change of momentum is less when force exerted will be more. If the force exerting is more, acceleration will be more. When the force exerting will be less, acceleration will be less. Okay. So what is the unit of this? SI unit we have kg meter per second square, because mass kilogram, acceleration meter per second square. Combine it together, we are calling it as Newton, and is represented with the symbol N. And similarly CGS unit, gram centimeter per second square. Combine it together, we will call it as dyne. Okay, then we have a relation again in between these two. Relation between SI and CGS units. 1 Newton is equals to how many dynes? Directly you can write 1 kilogram, how many grams? 1000. Okay. Meter, how many centimeters? 100 centimeters. So directly you can write 1000 and 100, 10 power 5. So 1 Newton is equals to 10 power 5 dynes. This is the relation between CGS and SI units. Okay. Here, for example, we are considering a block of mass M, or you can consider M1, a force exerted on it F, which is moving with an acceleration A1. Okay. Similarly, one more block of mass M2, there is a force exerted, the same force exerted, and its acceleration is A2. If both the masses are combined, M1 plus M2, again the same force exerted on it, what will be the acceleration? This is the question we have. Okay, two bodies of masses M1, M2, forces remain same, accelerations will be different. If they combine together and there is the same force exerted, what will be the acceleration? This is the question right now. Here, what is the formula for this? F equals to, according to Newton's second law, F equals to M1 A1. Here we will get the formula F equals to M2 A2. Here, what is the formula we have? Total mass we are considering. Total mass is M I am considering. So M equals to M1 plus M2. Okay. What is the force exerted on this total mass? F is the force exerted. So what we can write, F equals to M into A. Okay. So what will be the formula for M with respect to M? Here we can write M equals to F by A, and from here M1 equals to F by A1, plus similarly M2 equals to F by A2. Here numerator remains same, so they get cancel from left side and right side. So 1 by A equals to 1 by A1 plus 1 by A2. So you can conclude here, or else you can write A equals to A1 A2 divided by A1 plus A2. Okay, this is the acceleration of this. And one more. Suppose if the mass is removed, here we combined. If mass is removed, okay, then what will be the formula? If m equals to m1 minus m2, what will get the formula? Directly I am writing F by A equals to F by A1 minus F by A2. Here again F gets cancelled, so we get a formula 1 by A equals to 1 by A1 minus 1 by A2. So with respect to A equals to A1 A2 divided by A2 minus A1. It will take LCM. This is one more relation. And similarly, if we divide, if m equals to m1 divided by m2, so what will we get the formula? Directly F by A, m1 can be taken as F by A1, m2 can be taken as F by A2. So F gets cancelled. So 1 by A equals to A2 divided by A1. A2 will go to the numerator, so we'll get A2 by A1. And A equals to A1 by A2. This is the relation for capital M equals to M1 by M2. If they divide, and then we are applying a force on it. Okay, here combined, here subtracted, here divided. Okay, these are the relations we have when force exerted on different bodies. Okay, next, equals to m of v minus u by t. This is the relation we got. Okay, here suppose there is a water pipe. We are projecting water onto the wall, and what happened to the water? Water falls on the ground. Okay, what will be the force exerting on the wall? Here, what happens to the velocity here? Velocity after touching will be 0. Water touching on the wall will be 0. What will be the velocity here? Initial velocity. So here what we will get? F equals to m of u by t. Why we are not considering it as negative? Why? Because when it is going toward the wall, we are considering it as negative. Minus of minus, it becomes plus. So we are getting a formula F equals to m u by t. Okay, and one more. Sometimes there is a variable mass. Then what we need to do for this? Okay, for variable mass, okay, here we can consider F equals to dm by dt into velocity v. Why we are writing this directly? Here dm by dt is nothing but change in mass with respect to change in time interval. Okay, here we have a term velocity initially which is starting from rest. So u equals to 0. So we are getting a formula F equals to dm by dt into v. This is giving you for variable mass. Okay, and next, suppose here a person firing a bullet. Okay, if number of bullets are coming from the gun, then he need to hold the gun without changing the position. What will be the force exerted on the person? Okay, here again. How many number of bullets are coming? N number of bullets are coming. With what velocity? With velocity v we are considering, or you can consider it as u. Okay, number of bullets are coming out from the gun. N number of bullets. Bullet coming with the velocity u and its mass is m. So we'll get F equals to N m u by t. What will be the final velocity? Final velocity become 0. Finally, it comes to rest. Okay. Here, this is the force exerting on the person. Okay. With what force he need to hold the gun? F equals to N m u by t. Okay. Sometimes there will get a formula with respect to area. What we will get here? F equals to mass into velocity and time initially, which is coming with stationary. Okay, initially rest. Here mass can be taken as area into displacement into density. Okay, area into length is nothing but volume. Volume into density is giving you mass. Okay, so F equals to area into density, displacement divided by time. Okay, I'll write separately.